Zoe, who's only a blushing bride whenever you ask her about her wedding. Lucy Elliott here. She runs the website Wedding Saving Expert. There will be a lot of people watching who hopefully have very fond memories of their own wedding day, but they'll also remember that it might have been a lot less lavish in their days. There's a lot about the modern wedding that really is just fuss and flummery.
That's right. I mean, certainly in my parents' day, they had got married, had an afternoon tea, and then they were off on a train to their honeymoon by 6 o'clock that evening. Now people are having sort of longer weddings. They might even go on for 2 or 3 days. And so they have sort of grown out of all proportion, and as a result the cost of weddings has actually doubled in the last decade. Which
is why that average figure is so high as well. So if you were to think about a credit crunch wedding, it's not necessarily about being dirt cheap, it's about just cutting a little bit of the fat.
That's exactly right. I mean, my website's not actually about having a cheap wedding, it's about having a cheaper wedding. It's about sort of prioritising those aspects of the wedding that are important to you, and then saving on those aspects that aren't. Certainly for me, having a posh car to take me to the church wasn't important, so my dad just drove in his car. We had to pay £7 to insure my husband on it so that he could drive us back from the church.
Okay, so that's one very sort of practical thing. What other things could be sort of put to one side and people wouldn't really notice?
Well, I think an interesting thing is doubling up on things. So for our wedding cake, we had a wedding cake made of rounds of cheese that then doubled up as a cheese course and an evening buffet. For place names, our place names doubled up as wedding favours. So we had heart-shaped lollipops that had a tag on with each guest's name, so that we halved the cost on that.
What is the absolute cheapest that you could do a wedding and not disgrace yourself?
Well, I have read about a wedding that was done for £487.
What?
Now that was... I guess it depends on what your definition of disgracing yourself is.
Yes.
And this couple really took it into their own hearts to really cut the cost of their wedding. They asked guests to bring their own food and drink, and the reception was held in a garage warehouse where the groom worked.
But there are some essentials that you absolutely cannot cut back on. What are they?
That's right. So if you're having a registry office wedding, the absolute minimum is about £100, and that's so that you're legally man and wife. If it's a church, the lowest you could get married for in the church is about £200.
What about getting the guests to pay towards it? You know, instead of wedding presents, like weddings are getting later nowadays, people tend to have a lot of stuff already. Instead of gifts, how about sort of vouchers towards the cost of the wedding?
I think it's nicer to ask your guests and family to help out with supplying some things from wedding rather than asking for just money. So, for example, my sister-in-law decorated our wedding cheesecake for us so that we didn't have to get a professional in. So I think it's nicer to ask for their time than the money itself.
Right, well, let's take a look at some more tips on how to save money on your wedding. They are, first of all, don't use the word wedding when booking a venue. They often charge higher rates and different menus are involved. Ask for a quote for a family party instead. Not everything needs to be new. You know, the old line about something borrowed, something blue. Well, tiaras, veils, cake stands, they're often used just once, so they're hardly used if you're able to borrow them. And then how about leaving a stamped addressed envelope and a blank disco at every place, and then asking your guests to download their photos of your day and send them back to you. That cuts out the cost of a photographer. Now, Duncan, you are recently married.
That's
when
right.
you heard some of these money-saving tips, did you think, oh gosh, I wish we'd done that?
Absolutely. Well, my wife did a brilliant job actually planning the wedding, and she was very cost-conscious.
Good boy, that's exactly the thing you have to say.
Now, if I'd had your idea of making it a ticketed event, I think I would have been even happier. But
there are, as far as we know, no discount vouchers that can be used for weddings?
No, we do have them. We've had them for wedding companies. For flowers, you know, we have them at the moment, 12% off at Interflora. We have lots of different vouchers that can be used, especially for gifts.
And on Wedding Saving Expert, we negotiate discounts with wedding suppliers to so that our readers can get money off as well.
Don't be shy about doing that as well. All right, okay, both of you, Lucy and Duncan, thanks very much. Well, before we go, Liz Burgess says that they're celebrating her mum, Bridie's 69th birthday, and her mum's glad that they're snowed in so that she can watch us instead of going out for lunch. Well, Bridie, congratulations and happy day for you and your family. We are back at 12:30 tomorrow. It's Tuesday, so we're looking at technology. See you then. Bye-bye.